Welcome to the Prime Time for College Football podcast, a Hog Media production where we dive into everything around the Prime family and, college football and all of that. I'm your host, Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening, wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you're listening, rate, review, and give us 5 stars. So we got a special guest on today. We're going to talk to our guy, Dukes, the Scoop. We're going to dive into what's going on with Colorado's offense. We're going to talk about what they need to do on defense to get going, give y'all a prediction, and get back on track for not only us, but also the Buffs. They're going to be able to do it. Shout out to our partners at Sleeper for sponsoring the channel. If you're not using for daily fantasy sports, you're missing out. Use our promo code PRIMETIME, and they're going to match your first deposit up to $100 at 100%. And new users, when you sign up, they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. No deposit required. Check them out. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Let's jump right into it, shall we? What's going on, Boulder? We got our boy Dukes the Scoops in here. Chopping it up. We got to talk to Colorado ball, man. We got to figure out what the heck is going on with the Buffs and what they can do to bounce back against TCU. Dukes, what's going on, my man?
Hey, man, glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. And let's get into it. Let's figure out what the Buffs can do to get right, baby.
Exactly, man. We always appreciate having you on to talk some ball, man. So I've been looking through and looking at what Colorado probably needs to do to win this game. Right now, they're walking in as a dog and a big dog. But the good thing for Colorado is TCU ain't got that good of a defense. So when you're watching Colorado, what do you think they need to do on the offensive side, especially at quarterback, to get going? Because one thing I can say is their passing game is there. They've got the best, one of the best blocking offensive lines out there. Jordan Seaton's playing like an All-American. What do the Buffs need to do to really get K-Salt going so they can start launching the ball down the field?
Run the pass. I think you got to continue to run the ball. I know it sounds boring. There are a lot of schools in the country that say it, but they've got to run the ball to pass. When you give when you give teams more to think about, when you say, hey, we're getting gassed, we can't keep 2 safeties high. At this level of football, if you're able to get home with 4, if you're able to stop the run with 4 up front or a light box, then the athletes are too good at this level to be able to drop 7 and you still pass on it. So you have to give them something to think about. Make the mesh point be something that draws the safety. If we know you're throwing, if we know your tendencies, and we know that, hey, no matter how many fakes or how many times you go RPO, you're going to the P, then that's where it's kind of like, are you running the ball enough? I want to see more design runs for K-Salt and maybe a little more eye candy, a little window dressing before you go with the quarterback design runs. But yeah, I just think I don't care who runs it. Dre Miller, Michael Welch, Marion Miller, doesn't matter. Cute for 6, just run the ball. And I think that's the key to opening up the pass game. And that's going to be the key in this game against TCU.
That's what it seems like what you can do with Deion Miller. He's playing both running backs because the backs are down. You lost Simeon Price, who's out, and you lost Trackhawk, who's out. To me, your 2 better backs as of right now. We haven't seen much out of Hayden as of yet. I'm hoping he gets it going, but at the same time, K-Salt can run. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd say the last game, BYU was the game where I was like, okay, this is what I wanted out of K-Salt. This is the type of offense I expect out of you. But I also expect you to throw for 200. I mean, this team has not put up anywhere near the numbers in the past game that we saw last year with Shedeur and them. Now, granted, I'm not saying that they compare to Shedeur, but you still got the weapons to do that. I mean, Sincere Brown looks good when you throw him the ball. Mm-hmm. Joseph Williams appears to be getting open. He finds the pockets, and he's sitting there perfectly ready to catch passes. Draylon Miller's a problem. Omarion, like, you have the horses to pitch and catch, right? You got the guys that you can throw it. You can just throw it to them and they can get in space and make things happen. But it doesn't feel like K-Salt's offense has been leading to that. He's not been giving us the Liberty offense that we expected. I mean, I understand he was with Hugh Freeze when he kind of did a lot of that stuff, but at the same time, we know Shermer has made it to where this dude can go out there, not see it, and just run, and he's picking up big yards, but Dukes, it feels like he's kind of scared to do that. Even though he did run 17 times last week, it feels like he's scared to just tuck and go.
It feels like it because we've seen what it can look like when he's completely comfortable. I think some of the I think in the presser where he said he was still kind of in his head a little bit about the previous week or not playing the game of the Houston game. The Houston game. He was still in his head a little bit, and I think that's part of it. I think he's just in his head. Hey, it's open, run. Hey, it's open, throw it. And I think that decision, I think that thinking, that overthinking has kind of impacted him a little bit. Now, after he started the game, he's back starting another Big 12 game. Hopefully he's caught up to the speed of the Big 12. Hopefully he's saying, okay, I know what I've played against. I know who I am. Can I show who I am? Do I have to think through everything? Can I trust my pre-snap eyes? Oh, you know what? I see that safety creeping. You know what? I see this outside linebacker. I see his splits. Okay, cool. I know where I see the spacing there. I see where he's lining up. He's probably coming. All right, let me check out of this because that safety's probably dropping down in the box. And I've got Sincere one-on-one on the outside. That's the confidence that you want to see in the offense that'll make Caden Salter be Caden Salter. And what we know about Hugh Freeze is a lot of plays, he may design them open back then, where at Liberty is like, all right, they're going to bite on this fake. He's going to be wide open over the top. I mean, I think that you can get some of that simplicity, but I don't think it's not that K Salt it's not that he can't process it and you have to tell him what to do. It's about his comfortability in the offense and knowing that, all right, I've done this. I'm a fifth-year guy. I've done this plenty of times. I've seen this. Just do it. And I think that's what it is. And you know how it is. Like once you get that first, when you kind of, I guess, face the music that one time and you know it, then it becomes more routine. So I'm looking forward if he does it against on the road in a familiar territory because he's from the Dallas area. I feel like if he can do this on the road at TCU, then it could be trouble for the Big 12 going forward.
I see it too. He has the capability, like you said, we've seen it. We've seen you be able to do this. We've seen you be able to get those 100-yard games and rushing because you know when to read the opportunity to go and you go. Now, granted, I mean, I guess you could say based upon the competition from Liberty in comparison to what you get in the Big 12, maybe that may be something that's got you a little spooked, but that's definitely not something that I feel like should be happening. Before we continue what I got, Dukes, let's make some picks here on Sleeper, here on the Sleeper app. If you haven't checked them out, you're missing out. Sleeper has some of the best options and the best stats for daily fantasy sports that you can use. So let's look at this real quick. And we say you got Asia Wilson in the W. You can do WNBA. The way you do is pick two or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and boom, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. So we're going to pick more here with Asia. I like this pick. We're going to go to some NFL action for this weekend. Let's see what we got. Give me some. We don't want no anytime with Cam. Let's go with anytime with Amon St. Brown. They've been killing it with Detroit. Saquon Barkley, he should also score a tutty. And let's ride with Justin Jefferson. It's been a struggle. We're going to go less. So we're going to pick a few of these entries here. Like I said here, you pick two or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and boom, you are in the game. Use our promo code PRIMETIME. You'll get 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. New users also get $20 just for signing up. Take advantage of it. Use our promo code PRIMETIME and get into the game. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right, we chopping it up with I got Dukes. Dukes the Scoop. Check him out here on YouTube as well as follow him on Instagram. Follow him on X, Dukes the Scoop. All right, Dukes. Defensively, this is the one thing that had concerned me going into this season about Colorado. You lost some really good pieces, especially on the edge and in the secondary. And I thought, okay, felt like they may have replenished some of that with some of the pickups in the transfer portal. Some of the young players stepping up. DJ McKinney is still considered a potential all-conference type DB. Man, they can't stop the run. They can't stop a nosebleed whatsoever, dog. They run at you. They not getting it. Where are you seeing the biggest struggles for this team when it comes to that?
I'd probably say your run fits. I think just as far as trusting your eyes, I think that you have and not playing on the same sheet of music. Yeah. I think you heard Coach Prime talk about that. Say if one's gonna be wrong, we all got to be wrong so we can be right. And it sounds funny, but it's really the truth. Like if we're all we need to be making the same mistake so we can all be in the same spot and we can rally to the ball. And I think that's what's happening. The confusion. You saw what Georgia Tech was able to do. And when you put that film out there saying that, hey, if you give us this type of motion, if you give us this type of eye candy, we're going to lose our gap discipline. And I think teams are keying on that. And I think that's been the biggest thing, just gap discipline. So when you have played multiple teams who have some funky running things that they do, BYU, Houston, Georgia Tech, is like, all right, now you're finally getting to a team, TCU, that's more so predicated on the pass, where you can pin your ears back and try to go get the quarterback with a Keaton Wade or Arden or what's my man Arden? What's my man last name is slipping me right now.
Oh snap! Oh
Arden
man.
Walker.
Yeah, Walker. Yeah.
Forgiveness. But yeah, or Arden Walker. So guys who can really rush the edge and just pin their ears back, and you tell them, hey man, go get the quarterback. So I think this could, and TCU gave up 6 sacks last game, so I think this is where you can kind of get out the schneid, where lately TCU, their running back has been injured, so they don't have that. You won't. I don't think you'll see the same attack that you saw against North Carolina. You'll see more of the one-dimensional going to Josh Hoover, who's had a lot on his shoulders the last couple of games, and with him losing Eli McAllister, that's also going to hurt you. I want to make sure I say his name right too.
Yeah. No, they've got some injuries too that's going to force, like you said, it's going to force Hoover to go out there and really continue to carry the team. And I mean, he's been balling at quarterback, and he's pretty talented. He's got the capabilities, but if you prevent, like, to me, that was my thing with the Houston game as well as even with BYU with Bear Bachmeier. Like, the Buffs came out in that game on fire. You force the true freshman to do a lot of stuff that he didn't want to do. You go up 14 and you take that lead. You make them work, but then they start to get creative in order to try to get yards. You force them out of the game that they would normally play by saying, nah, you're not about to just walk up in this bad boy and do this. You got work that you're going to have to do. And yeah, that's not good how that ended in the fourth quarter. You're up 21-17, but you, for some reason, cannot find a way to stop them on those end arounds. And like you said, it's that eye discipline. And that's the one thing I've been looking at too, is the defense just doesn't feel like they have the eye discipline. The linebackers don't feel like they're filling the spots that you thought they would. So with French and Hughes, man, I know I don't think they're bad, but the struggle bus is there.
I mean, going into the season, I think I said repeatedly that I wanted to figure out who the mic was going to be. Who was your green dot guy? Who was your traditional thumper? Because the two guys that you were running out are pretty much two wheels, two more so weak side backers who would be better suited in the same position. I think they both can play, but I think they're more run hit guys than, hey, get everybody lined up. This is where you go. And I think that's kind of what you're missing, that traditional Mike who can get everybody lined up, that quarterback in the middle of the defense. I think that as the season goes on, they're getting better. You'll see more of that. Hey, you know what? That's BS. You know, hey, move with the safety. But move with the motion guy. But hey, you know, keep your keys. You know, and I think that's probably. And it's hard for me to say from this. I'm just saying what it looks like, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think I think as the season goes on, do you go to a younger guy and keep these guys in a rotation? I don't know. I think right now, though, I think if I had to say trajectory wise, French started off really strong. You know, if he could take Jeremiah Brown is now back in the mix, it's kind of that more traditional mic. I would like to see French get another shot at it. Just say, okay, you know what, throw French at the mic, and I think they went Hughes first. Let's see what French can do between the tackles, and I think he's just such a competitor. I think sometimes that competitive juice can help you when it comes to stopping the run. So, if you're gonna be wrong, you got to be wrong. And I'll say this: one thing about being wrong, if you're gonna be wrong 100 miles an hour. Knock somebody, go knock somebody. You know what, loose. Like that's what you got to do, because if you're wrong and you're tipping because like, oh, you're thinking about it, and I think that's just kind of how up the alley linebackers and safeties when it comes to Colorado. It just don't seem as if they've been sure. And I think that's probably more important than anything, is because you're not running. Let's say you go into the wrong gap. Okay. But you go into the wrong gap 100 miles an hour, you still got a chance to make a play. But if you go in the wrong gap and it looks like, should I been? I got it. If you're running into that gap, trying to get back to where you're supposed to be, well, then that's a loss on two sides, because you didn't feel any gap at that point. So I think that's kind of where Colorado is, just trusting themselves, trusting their eyes. And I think as the season goes on, it'll get better. But if I had to make a prediction, I think eventually you'll see French kind of step up in that role, if I had to make a prediction. And I also wanted to correct myself too. That was Eric McAllister from TCU, the real wide receiver. I think he had 250 a couple of games ago receiving. So
yeah. Eric McAllister, that's who it is. Yeah, appreciate. Yeah, you're exactly right. I was looking at that. I was like, I think he's talking Eric, but I digress. Yeah, oh man, the DBs though. What are we doing? Like, so Prime called out the corners in the presser. Said they got to play better. 95% corners go out there and ball. You got 5% that's just going to dominate. And he's looking for that 5% who's going to step up, man. Besides McKinney, who for the most part has been solid, had his moments, but he's been solid. Who's going to take over that other spot? Like Makari Vickers, he's been getting cooked a little bit as of late. He's got a little bit more improvements to go, but who's going to be the other corner? Who's that dude? Secondaries, safeties. Byard feels like the only one. What's going on?
It's hard to say at this point, man. It's just kind of like you just got to kind of figure out who's who, and you won't know until you see it in the game. You can look like an All-American in practice, where you know what this wide receiver is going to do. You know his tendencies. Yep. You practice against him for months and months and months. But when you get to a game where everything is equal, that's who you got to figure out, and you can't figure out until you get in the game. So I think hopefully somebody like Byard stepped up when he got his opportunity, and I think that's what Coach Prime really preaches is when you get your opportunity, what are you going to do with it? Byard stepped up and he dominated and maximized his opportunity. Could it be Parks? Could Parks, see the light? Could it be Seatbelt? Could he see the light? Yeah, are you kind of waiting on RJ Johnson to get back? I mean, I'm not sure how serious the injury is. So at this point, it's just hard to say. I mean, do you move a safety over? Is Branch better suited at corner than with his height and his length? Will he be better suited at corner to help you? Even though he plays a little safety, could you see him get more reps at safety? So I think it's a lot. I mean, the secondary just is kind of unsettled. You had a lot of roster turnover at the position over the last couple of years.
That's true.
And when you think about it, you lose a Shiloh, you lose a Cam Sealman-Craig, you lose a Travis Hunter, you lose a Colton Hood, you lose a Cormani McClain, you lose a lot. And when you just listen at those 5 names that was just in the same secondary, just listen to that. Colton Hood, who's going crazy right now. Cormani McClain, who's starting the SEC at Florida. Travis Hunter, who's playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shiloh and Cam Sealman-Craig. That's a ton of experience, a ton of athleticism, and a ton of ability. So the turnover is to be expected. And I think that the way Colorado recruits and for what they did in the last year, the expectation is Big 12 championship. But you also have to look at roster turnover and look at the type of talent. And you just don't go five secondary members who are like that. In the last, and this is over like maybe a course of 18 months, you lost all this talent. You take out Cormani McClain and you lose those 4 in 1 year.
Oof, that is a lot. And you start to see these dudes kind of, they've, I guess it was a change of scenery for them to get them right, get their act right, get them going, and they're starting to play a little bit. Okay, we're wrapping up here with our guy Dukes.
And real quick, I want to bring this up too, Jay.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter took his licks as a freshman, as a young player as well, even at Jackson State. He took his licks. Experience is the best teacher. So I think as Seatbelt this is really Seatbelt's most extensive playing time. So he's going to get better as the season goes. So I wouldn't count Seatbelt out. Yeah, I think he's got all the tools. He just got to put it together on the field, and he's learning it. He's learning. He's getting a crash course on Power 4 football in front of the world.
Ooh, That's the crazy part. It can be the brutal part is that the whole world is watching you. And Prime mentioned about it secondary. They're known, but not for a good reason. So hopefully they find a way to make it a good reason to be known for being dominant and not being known because you're giving up a whole bunch of yards. But before we finish up here with Dukes, let's take some more picks in here. Let's add some college football picks for the week at Sleeper. If you haven't checked them out for daily fantasy sports, you are missing out. They got some of the best options, more statistics than any other daily fantasy sports site out there. So they're not just season long. They're hooking you up also with the daily fantasy stuff. And you can use our promo code PRIMETIME when you sign up. They're going to hook you up with a deposit match up to 100% up to $100. And new users are going to get $20 just for signing up. Use our promo code, man. Get in there. So let's look at this pick. Diego Pavia. He's one player that I am high on. And Diego Pavia passing for 200 yards against Alabama, I'm going to say less. Because I think that they're going to run all over Alabama this weekend. So that's one to really check out. DJ Lagway. I don't think he gets 200 yards passing this game or 191. We're going to go less with him as well. Justin Haynes running the ball for Michigan this weekend versus against Wisconsin. He's going to run for over 100 yards. Picking that on the more. Let's see. So we don't have anything for Colorado, but hey, Ty Simpson should throw for a couple tutties in this game. We're going to pick more there. And then we'll pick Moss to not score. Actually, he'll score a touchdown against Mississippi State, the Battle of the Maroons. And if you get all of these, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So, we'll throw a little ducats on here. Make game days into paydays. Use our promo code PRIMETIME. You'll get 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. New users also get $20 just for signing up. Then just download the Sleeper app. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. We'll wrap this up with our guy Dukes the Scoop over at Dukes the Scoop here on YouTube, as well as follow on X and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. All right, let's get a final prediction going on for this TCU game. Right now, the spread's roughly around 13 and a half points. Over under sitting at about 50-something, 58 and a half, 58-ish. What you think? What's your final prediction for the game, man? How do you think this game will end this weekend down there in Fort Worth?
So they had the over-under at 58. That's like 35, 23, 20, somewhere in there. Colorado hasn't shown that they can consistently score. I think this is the game where they take advantage of the turnovers. I think Josh Hoover will turn it over. You saw last week he turned it over. At TCU, what people aren't realizing is that game, they're really like a mirror image of Colorado when it comes to closing out games. If you go look at that, or at least in this last game, TCU with 6 minutes left in the first half, TCU was up 17-0 and lost that game. They were outscored 27-7 the rest of the way. Didn't score in the fourth quarter, and when you go look at their fourth quarter possessions, it was like punt, turnover, punt, field goal. Missed field goal. It was crazy. Maybe they missed the field goal. I don't even know if they missed that field goal. They didn't score. Put it like that.
They fumbled. They had a fumble and an interception literally in the last two possessions to basically give up.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, man. So I think they're a beatable team, and I think this is the one where I think Colorado feels that it's now or never, and I think they're going to go with the now. And if I had to do a score prediction, I'm going to go maybe 28-24 Colorado.
Ooh, 28-24. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm smashing the under.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same time as you when it comes to that. I was thinking 27-24. 28's pretty good as well. I'm thinking Colorado finds a way to close it out in the end. I mean, I know for a lot of the fans it's tough to continue to have faith, but hey, they'll figure it out, man. They've got enough of the horses to do it. People need to step up, like Prime said, to make it happen, and coaches got to keep putting them in the right spot. Prime's also said that portion of it. So I'm at the 27-24 range. It's going to be a close game. I think Hoover, as you mentioned, he turns the ball over. I think Colorado can take advantage of it. They did it against Georgia Tech. Now all you got to do is get the offense to go out there and capitalize on those instead of stalling, especially on a defense that's ranked like 112th in total defense. They're not very good. You should be able to move the ball, and if you take the ball, you should be able to continue to move the ball and close it out. This is, like you said, that get-right game, so I'm in the same spot. So let the people know where to find you, my man.
At Dukes the Scoop on Twitter, Instagram, and The Scoop with Dukes on YouTube. But if you go on YouTube, just put in Dukes the Scoop, and you will see my face somewhere.
Yeah, you will see this man everywhere. He's all over the place. Appreciate y'all pulling up. We'll chop it up soon.